Welcome to P-Card and Concur for Supervisor Approvers. You are taking this training because you are listed as a supervisor in the SFA Hierarchy Maintenance Table for a P-Card cardholder. In addition to this training video, please reference the P-Card manual for SFP Concur. Within this manual, there is a table of contents that you can use to jump to the section of your choosing. Notice that there is an approval section designated here, so whenever you access this guide, you can jump to this section if needed. SFP Concur is SFA's new travel and expense management system. This platform is used for both P-Card and travel processes to centralize and automate both of them into one efficient solution. The P-Card processes will live within the Concur expense portion. So whenever we look at Concur, we'll see that there's a request section and an expense section, and P-Card will live within that expense portion of Concur. Some of the features that are included with Concur: visibility into the process from start to finish. This is including approvals, so your cardholders and delegates will be able to see this from start to finish. There are also mobile functions for approving and uploading receipts on the go. This will help us to utilize digital receipts to migrate to a more paperless process. And then it includes a full audit trail that will support our compliance requirements. To log into SFP Concur, you will go to your MySFA. Once you're logged in, go to the Resources tab. And then within the Travel and P-Card section, there is a Concur link. Recall that P-Card and Travel will both utilize this system, but to identify any P-Card statement reports, they will always have this naming convention that includes P-Card to start, followed by the billing cycle, and then it will end with the last 4 digits of the card. So again, P-Card statement reports will always have this naming convention to help you quickly identify what is a P-Card statement report. Within Concur, your card holders will be going into Concur Order Delegate to add descriptions and financial information for each of the transactions on their billing cycle. Once this report is complete, the cardholder is responsible for submitting the report each month, which will then trigger an email for you as the supervisor to approve that entire report. So you as the supervisor will be that first stage of the approval process, followed by the financial manager, which will be based on the folks that are used within that report. And then it will go on to the P-Card administrator review stage. So again, the cardholder will submit the report. You as the supervisor will approve the entire report, followed by the financial managers based on the folks that were used, and then the P-Card administrator review. If we jump back to our table of contents, let's go directly to our approval section. Once the cardholder submits a report and is ready for your approval, again, you will receive an email to notify you that it is ready. Within the email, it will have the cardholder's name, followed by that naming convention, again, identifying that it is a P-Card statement report. And then you'll see the total amount of that is included on this report. From this email, you can use this View Report link to jump directly to this report within Concur. Otherwise, once you get to Concur, you will land on your home page, which will allow you to get to your approvals 3 different ways here. So you have your Approvals tab at the top, followed by your Required Approvals link here. Both of these links will take you to your approvals dashboard. If you scroll down, there is a My Task section. You can use these named reports to jump directly to a specific report. So again, you can use these two approvals links at the top, or you can jump to a specific report from the home page by clicking on it here. So we'll go to our approvals dashboard. So remember, Concur is shared between Travel and P-Card. So your approvals dashboard is going to show all of your approvals within the Concur system. So your travel request will live here. Your expense reports for travel will live here. But your P-Card statement reports will live on the Statement Reports tab. You can also view your approvals for travel requests here. And then both your travel expense reports and your P-Card statement reports will live within this Reports tab here. But if we jump to our statement reports here, we'll see our P-Card name and convention used, the cardholder's name, the end of the billing cycle for that statement will be indicated here as well. And then this total should match what is on the Citibank statement. So if we click on one of these reports, it will take us to view each transaction within that report. At a glance, I can see that name and convention again, followed by the cardholder's name. And then I see a list of all of the transactions within this particular report. I can see the vendor's name, the transaction date, as well as the amount in the description. But then I have this gray pane here, and I can use this, this line to drag and expand this section if needed. So depending on your preference, you can use this line here to adjust this as needed. If I click on a transaction, it will expand those details for the transaction within that gray box. Here I can see the description, which will tell me what was purchased on this particular transaction. It will show me the expense type or account code used, as well as the FOP. And then again, at a glance, I have this vendor information, transaction details listed here, just as a reference. Here at the top, I can see that there were comments entered by the cardholder or their delegate. And so this gives me additional information they may want me to know about this particular transaction. As a supervisor, you can also add additional comments here. So as it goes from one stage to another, these comments will live here with this transaction for everyone to see. So again, that full transparency with this comment box here. You can review the receipt two different ways. You can either hover over this receipt icon, and it will show you the receipt for that transaction, as well as any supplemental documentation. Or I can click on this receipt image tab while I'm viewing that particular transaction, and I can view that receipt here as well. So again, two different ways to access that information, and you can toggle between these two tabs for this specific transaction as needed. So whenever you're reviewing your transactions on this report, you want to make sure that everything's in order, that what was purchased was an acceptable P-Card purchase, because you're helping us to remain compliant, reviewing these transactions. You're making sure that everything is okay. You also want to check to make sure that any documentation beyond the receipt that's required is attached. So if there's a P-Card exception form that should have been included, you want to make sure that that's also here as well. If anything is missing or if you have any questions, you can add any comments here. And then that way, wherever this report goes, everyone will be able to see it, including the cardholder, the financial managers, as they review, will be able to see any comments if needed, as well as the P-Card administrator review step. After you have reviewed each transaction, you have three options here. You can approve. If everything is in order, you can click approve, review the statement, and then accept. You can send it back to the user if needed, if something needs to be adjusted. You can hit send back to user. In this comment box, you're required to enter the reason that you are sending back this report. That way, once it goes back to the cardholder, they will know exactly what needs to be fixed before they review the report and make those corrections. My recommendation, if you're going to use the send back to user function, is to make sure that you have reviewed everything before you send it back. That way, you're not constantly sending it back for corrections. So review everything. If you need to send it back, put your reason, and then hit OK. It will prompt the cardholder and their delegate that the report was sent back so that they can make those corrections. Additionally, you have the option to approve and forward. After everything meets your satisfaction, everything looks good, you can send this report for additional approval to another user who also has the ability to approve. So this user that you select, if you start typing in their name, you can find them in a list as you type. You can use this search approvers by dropdown to choose how you want to search. So if I do first name, I can start searching by a different parameter. So once you select the person that you want to send this to, you can add additional comments and then approve and forward. After you've done that, it will prompt this particular person you've identified that they have something to approve. Once they approve it, it will continue on in that process to go to the financial manager. Again, if you use this approve and forward feature, the person that you are sending it to has to have that approver role. So if they don't have that approver role, you will not find them when you start to type in their name. So we'll use the most commonly used button that will be utilized, which is just the approve. We'll read the statement. Once we read it, we will accept. Once this report has been approved, we'll jump back to our reports tab, and then we'll go on and approve any other reports that we have out there. So remember, your P-card statement reports will be indicated by statement. You'll see that report name if that's easier for you to identify it. Feel free to use these column headers to sort. If you have a list of reports that need approval, you can do that here. But if it's easier for you, you can also jump back to your approvals home and go to the tab of your choosing. So we see here that we have another report. And so we will continue approving reports as they're available. If you have any questions about how to approve, or if you need any clarity, please reach out to us by utilizing the pcard@ email address, and we will be happy to assist you. But we appreciate you taking this training, and we hope that you found it useful.